Coming from the perspective of the ferry, safety is actually our utmost concern. All of our crew are certified to the levels they have to be, depending on their position, whether they're deckhands, engineers, engineers assistants, or ferry operators and captains. We all have the proper certifications through Transport Canada. All of our vessels are certified and safeted on a yearly basis. Firefighting apparatus, life jackets, everything is regulated pretty strictly on passenger ferries. The First Nation regulates our safety as well, so we all have to wear the vests when we're on the deck. We have to have safety shoes. When we're working on here, we do have safety harnesses if we're up high on the vessel. And you'll find this throughout the community, throughout the employees in the community, especially in public works.
Here are some safety tips when traveling by ferry. Keep children away from open guardrails. Stay seated either in your vehicle or in the passenger seating area provided. Always walk, never run while aboard the ferry. Know where life jackets are stored in case of an emergency. And remember to put on your seatbelt prior to driving off the ferry.
Once we can't run the ferry anymore, we have a smaller ferry that can break ice, and we'll keep an ice trail open as long as possible. Once we can't run that, we'll tie it up and we go into winter operations with hovercraft and scoots.
To bring my son over on the scoot, we had to put headphones on him because it was very, very loud and it could damage his eardrums. So we preferred to ride the hovercraft because overall, in the wintertime down here, that is the safest method to bring a child over on.
Here are some safety tips when traveling by hovercraft or scoot. Ensure you and your children are seated for the entire ride. Do not distract the drivers and keep volume low. Cover ears with protectors to block out loud engine noise, especially for children. And remember, if you have mobility concerns, always ask for help walking on the ice to the craft.
Everybody gets together. That's ferry crews, public works, administration, and any volunteers within the community, and we work on an ice road. How to mark it, where to mark it, how to test it daily, and who's going to monitor and who's going to keep control of it. They'll determine through that whether it's safe for vehicles or what we call safe. Ice is never safe, but we try to keep it as safe as possible.
Yeah. Usually we have somebody that checks the ice, that keeps an eye on the thickness of the ice. Usually for first times, usually it's sleds and or ATVs, and then from there they just gauge the thickness as to whatever, and bulletins are put out all over the island in regards to the thickness of the ice. And then we get the few people that are brave and want to show off and do whatever, and they just take right off. 3 years ago we had a fatality and lost one member from here.
Oh, I think you got to know obviously the environment, and if you don't know the ice road, don't go on it because it is dangerous, it is treacherous. Accidents can happen in a split second, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can flip your car, you can get stuck in a crack, we always make sure we know where we're going. We put flags up and we make sure we follow. We pay attention to which direction everybody's going into. We just don't cross randomly anywhere. We don't, tailgate behind somebody's car. But when you compound the weight all in one area instead of spreading it out, that can be dangerous. Makes for cracks, makes for waves underneath the ice, which wrecks it on the shores, 1 year we pushed and shoved everybody over. We shoveled, literally. Took like 2 hours to get over.
But everybody's always keeping an eye out for one another, so that's good. When you come from a small community like this, it's good.
Here are some safety tips when traveling on an ice road. Always check transportation bulletins to see if the ice is thick enough to drive on. Only drive on ice when the transportation department tells you it is safe. Drive within the marked lanes only. Only drive in clear weather. And remember to drive slowly. Do not tailgate or pass other vehicles on the ice road.